Hi, David Goulding here with Ensign Building Solutions. We are here at a property where remediation was just conducted, and now we're in the process of doing what's called post-remediation clearance verification, where a third party comes in and we walk the house together, an additional set of eyes by another professional who will assist in determining whether or not remediation was done thoroughly, whether additional cleaning might be needed. It usually consists of a visual inspection as well as air quality tests. Those tests are taken indoors, they're taken outdoors, and then the results are compared to determine the types of molds that are found, as well as the concentration of molds that are found. And what we're seeking is a favorable result would be that our results are comparable to or lower than the outside for each type of mold spore that's found. But as far as the visual inspection here goes, this particular project was quite complicated. Clients purchased the house and knew that there was rodent infestation and also knew that there was water intrusion. So our task was to kind of search and destroy to determine the level of contamination and what was the proper scope of work. We're going to have to demo a lot of areas and a lot of rooms and probably even cut inspection holes in order to be able to determine where the intrusion occurs and where the remediation needed to occur. So as you can see in this room, we pretty much gutted all the exterior walls as well as the ceiling. Within the attic space, there was significant rodent infestation, a lot of feces, obviously, which is a big no-no. I mean, that's inhalation or accidental ingestion can make a person very, very sick from that. But we also did find areas of water intrusion. And in those areas, there was active mold growth. So we required the removal of all the drywall, the insulation, the trim, in order to expose the wall cavity and all the framing. And then the framing gets cleaned with a fungicide, treated with a mold inhibitor. And then in those areas where there's rodent infestation, it's required to use an enzyme or an enzymatic cleaner. We're going to take a couple of peeks at other areas of the house as well. Now, around this chase, we discovered that there was water intrusion, and so we started to remove drywall to expose the wall cavities. And here we discovered as well that there was a lack of sheathing. You can see here behind the framing, normally you would see sheathing right here as opposed to seeing the exposed brick. You'd have some type of sheet, whether it's OSB, oriented strand board, or maybe a Thermax or some type of rigid foam board is commonly used for sheathing. But in this case, around the fireplace chase, there was absolutely no sheathing. The biggest problem with this is, number one, it's easy access for pests. But also when it comes to air infiltration, if you're inviting moisture-laden air or air with high relative humidity inside into the wall cavities, then that moisture in the form of vapor can actually condense on the backside of the drywall and end up creating a situation where mold can actively grow. So that's what we found here is lack of sheathing, a lot of air infiltration and mold inside these wall cavities, as well as an active leak and actual water intrusion in the chimney chase. So this whole area had to be gutted and cleaned. So here we're in the breakfast room, and we, through infrared, were able to determine that there was active water intrusion. And you're always investigating as you go. So we train our technicians even who go and get certified, and they're trained by us and by a third party as well, in order to always look for signs of moisture, because where the moisture is, obviously that's going to be where the mold contamination is. So you're not just doing demo, you're actually an investigator. As you're removing carefully the building materials, you're also investigating and inspecting as you go, determining how much materials need to be removed, as well as what needs to be cleaned. And in this case, we found water intrusion as well as holes in the sheathing where additional rodent entry was a likely entry point for rats. So all this ended up being demoed, drywall, trim, insulation to expose all the framing and cleaned. Here we are in the master bedroom, and something that's really, really important as far as doing the remediation is you're isolating each area. Now in this case, there's a lot of contamination throughout the house, but still we need to take measures to contain any space that we're cleaning. So we cordon off one room at a time, create negative pressure. And what that does is as you're removing contaminated materials, the contaminants end up being released into the air, and cross-contamination into other areas of the house can occur if it's not properly contained. So you're depressurizing the area one room at a time, doing all the necessary demo and cleaning, and then moving on to the next area. Now within the master bathroom here, once we removed some of the drywall from the back side of that shower valve, we discovered that there was a leak. And in removing, so therefore the tile had to come off. So we did a little additional digging. Again, investigating, inspecting as we go. Determined that there was significant mold growth actually beneath the shower pan on the subfloor. And in this case, there was actually rotting. So it was more than just clean the subfloor with fungicide. We actually had to remove the subfloor, and it spanned a pretty large area here in the master bathroom. So this subfloor will end up being replaced. And after clearance verification is complete, then the rebuild will begin, and subfloor and so forth, this whole bathroom and the whole house actually is going to be repaired and rebuilt. Here we are in the kitchen, and here we discovered that there was a leak in the ice maker line behind the refrigerator. So in pulling that out, sure enough, we did detect a significant level of visible mold present on the drywall and on the trim. So therefore, the contaminated materials ended up being removed to expose the framing so that the framing could then be sanitized with the proper fungicide. Part of the clearance verification is having a third party come in to do a visual inspection. He's going to check visually with everything was properly removed and cleaned, check moisture readings throughout the house, as well as take air quality tests. And these tests are mold samples, you might say, where we're collecting an air sample in various areas throughout the house and then collecting control samples outdoors. Those are sent to a third-party laboratory where they're assessed under a microscope. And ideally, we will have, after remediation, a level of mold spores inside the home that's comparable to or lower than that of the level outside. If it comes back where it's still significantly elevated, then there may need to be some additional touch-up cleaning or HEPA air scrubbing to go along with the remediation process in order to achieve our clearance. Something to consider here is that mold spores are microscopic and they're floating in the air. So if you ever detect that there is visible mold in a particular place, know that it goes beyond that. Contamination can occur in other areas because of mold growing in one spot. Those mold spores become aerosolized, they become airborne, and they're looking to land on a surface where it can actually spread and contaminate another area of the house. So generally, if you've got one small area, you've got to also be considerate of other areas to make sure there's no cross-contamination.